Hi, welcome back to the kinesiology warm-up. I'm Marianne Foster, and I'm just going to do a little movement here for seniors to warm your hips up in all three planes. When you do this, it's really important that you have balance, so make sure to have a chair or something to hold on to if you need to balance. To start, I want to emphasize how the hip is a ball and socket joint. The ball and socket joints are the most movable joints in the body. The shoulders are also ball and socket joints. So these four joints are really the only major ball and socket joints in the body. And a lot of times we lose range of movement because we don't go through complete movement in all three planes. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to start with just putting the leg out, and you can have the knee bent, and I'm just turning the leg inside and out to roll the hip in the horizontal plane, which is the plane of the floor and the ceiling. It should feel pretty good. My standing leg is straight. I've got my abdominals lightly contracted. The other side, same thing. So turning the hip in and out. And notice how I'm staying fairly stable in my body. Should feel kind of easy. These are not strengthening exercises. These are joint loosening exercises. We can also put our heel out and roll the hip, roll the leg like this. In this exercise, I like to call rolling pin. Got my toes lifted, and I'm just loosening my legs. That's a real easy one to do when you're just hanging out, standing around, waiting for something, which seems like we do a lot of in our lives these days. So that's another one. Okay, now I'm going to take my heels out, back together, toes out, back together, heels out, back together, toes out, back together. You can bend the knees when you do this. So don't worry about doing it right or wrong. Just really feel the range of movement. Should feel pretty good. All right. Okay, now we're going to move in the frontal plane, which is the plane of the wall behind me. So this is movement of the arms in the frontal plane. Here's movement of the legs in the frontal plane. And this is a range that we don't really do a lot of movement in unless we're like turning or we're playing tennis and moving sideways. So I'm just touching my toe across, real easy, really feeling the joint. Really want to loosen up, use the movement to loosen up the joint and take the joint through range of motion. When my leg goes across, my inside muscles on my legs, my abductor muscles are like scissors folding the legs across. When I go out, these muscles are working the abductor group on the side of the hip. The more I do this, the easier it gets, the looser it feels. And then doing the other side, same thing. And like I said before, if you can balance, you don't need a chair to hold on to, but if you do have balance issues, make sure to hold on to a chair. Again, don't worry about doing it right or wrong. Just really feel the range of movement. Usually I do 10 on each side. Just do as many as you're comfortable with so that you don't overdo it. Okay. The next one is a similar one, only it's a closed chain action, which means my feet are going to stay on the floor during the whole movement. So again, I'm moving the hips in the frontal plane, and I'm just going directly side. Now here I'm in the middle, here I'm over the leg, here I'm on the outside. Middle, inside, middle, outside. Let's see if you can move through all of those points. I imagine I have an anchor on my tailbone, so my back stays long. And the more I do this, the looser it gets, the easier it feels. Now we're going to take it a little bit farther into a lunge, back to center. Lunge, back to center. We'll do 3 more. 2 on, 1 on each side, so that's 2. Here's set 3. And I'm pushing my body away from the floor to come back up. There's kind of a rebound action. Okay, this next one is one of my favorites. So I'm just gonna lift the knee, cross the leg, the knee, take it out, crossing in again. Get a chair if you need to. Just reaching the toes, stretching. As I go this way, I can really feel these muscles open. So one last one, and then we switch sides. Okay, so lifting, reaching, lifting out. 2, and stay with me, 3, and let's do 6, 4, 2 more, 5, and 6. Now you might be getting some clunky feeling in your hips if your hips are tight. So if you do, that's okay. Now we're going to move in the sagittal plane, which is the plane of the wheel. So it would be the plane on the sides of the room. And this is the plane of locomotion. This is the plane that we walk in. To begin with, we will just swing the legs, which is what happens in walking. There's a swinging action. So we'll just do a kind of loose, moving the leg like a pendulum. Don't worry about doing it right or wrong, but do feel your foot scrape the floor if you can. So you get that feeling of weight at the bottom of the arc. And then do the other side. Again, holding onto a chair if you need to, keeping your abdominals contracted. Stay stable. My standing leg is straight, so my knee is not bent. Bending the knee, holding the knee in a chronic bent position puts a lot of pressure on the joint, so I don't recommend it as a neutral stance. Okay, now I'm just going to lift the leg, and as I lift the leg, I want to feel right here going down. So I'm lifting, dropping, lifting, dropping. If you want to pull your knee up with your hands, that's a great way to feel this. So it's a little bit like marching in place. Good. Stay with me. Keep doing it. Make sure to contract your abdominals. Wake those legs up. Now I'm going to lunge back to center. Lunge back to center. I'm trying to keep my body pretty vertical. And I'm bending the front knee, back leg is straight. Pressing into my toes. Should feel pretty good. One more on each side. Okay. Now we're going to move them with the feet stable. So I'm going back to neutral. Flexion to neutral. My gluteal and hamstring muscles are working on the back. Especially when I lean forward, they're working eccentrically. So make sure you're contracting those muscles on the back of your hips. And with a little bit of a loosener, hip swirls. Imagine you have a large pencil on your tailbone or paintbrush, and you're painting a circle on the floor. Do the other side. Just moving your hips around. Again, I have my fingers in the crease in the front of my hips, so I can really feel that crease. And just going around the back edge there. Feeling any place you need to loosen them. All right, thanks for joining me today. I hope you like this and that your hips feel looser and better than when you came in. I know mine do. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, join my YouTube channel, and tell your friends. See you next time. Bye now.